What is the most condescending advice you received from someone who assumed you were poorer or less educated than them? 1. It was my first day at a new hospital. I pulled into the lot, and parked in a spot reserved for physicians. I was a bit early, so I called my BFF, who is also an OB/GYN, and I was laughing and chatting with her when I hear an angry knock on my window. I turned to see a white male, in his late 50s to early 60s, with his face twisted in anger. I roll down my window and he begins shouting, "You can't park here. This is for physicians only." So I grab my badge, that's on a stretch string, and I place it about 1 centimeter from his face and say, "I think this gives me permission to park here, dude." No apologies. He just turns on his heels and walks away. Yes, black women can be physicians too. 2. I was walking my dog around the marina and I was going back to my dad's boat. I saw a couple standing next to it. I walked down to the end of the dock and the guy told me only boat owners are allowed on the docks, and I have to get out. Then he turned to the woman and was telling her about the places he's been on his boat, and how he has to find someone to clean it. All this time he was pointing at my dad's boat. I was just standing there wondering what's going on. Then he told me that if I'm lucky enough I'll find a rich guy like him, and told me to go away before he called security. The woman said I'll have to find some other guy because he's taken. She made a face at me and was hugging him. I tried going around them and he asked what I'm doing. I told him I was getting on my dad's boat, and they both laughed at me. Then Ed, one of the crew, came out from the back of the boat and told me dinner is ready. I told him I'll be right up as soon as these idiots got out of my way. I stuck my tongue out at the woman and said, "He's all yours." She got mad and walked away. The guy was following her and she kept yelling at him to stay away and how he's a fake. Tom, another crew, opened the side door and asked me what's going on. I said she didn't like him as much as she thought she did. 3. I was in my classroom after my class had left for the day. They had made a bit of a mess, so after I'd tidied the place, I got out the vacuum and began to run it around the room. I wanted it to look fresh for the new teacher's aide who I was going to interview that afternoon. A young man came in, looked at me, but didn't say a word, didn't introduce himself, just sat down at my desk. I asked him, "Can I help you?" He made an impatient gesture with his hand. "Just clean up and get out. I've got an interview with the head teacher at 4. I shrugged and got on with it. After about 5 minutes the room was clean and I put away the vacuum. As I was coming back to the room, the young man came out looking annoyed and said, "Look, pass on the message to the head teacher that he's late for our interview, so I'm leaving." I glanced at my watch, said, "I'm so sorry, but you did imply that you didn't mind waiting," as I was cleaning up. "It's now 4:05. He stared at me. "What's it got to do with you?" I held out my hand to shake his. "I'm the head teacher. Do you want to go back now for the interview?" He stared, then went several shades of red and left. Needless to say, if he'd stayed for the interview he would have had to be truly exceptional for me to overlook his silly gender bias that I was supposed to be a male, and his assumption that a head teacher can't clean up as well as a professional cleaner. And just for the record, our cleaner is male.